Hello, friends. I will give this werewolf a magic amulet. Be sure to subscribe to my channel. Today is very depressing for me to talk about. Today is January 27th, 2017, and it's been 1 year since my sister's disappearance, and that's the official story. But I know the real reason she disappeared, and to understand what happened, we have to start at the beginning, and the story might be long, but screw it, let's do this. My name is David Morgan. I'm a senior at Towson University and I'm 4 months away from graduating. I'm the youngest child of 3 siblings. My second sibling is my brother Jamie, who was in D.C. at the time. And then there's Alex, my older sister, the one who disappeared. Before her disappearance in 2016, she gives birth to her daughter Alice and was in a happy relationship with her high school sweetheart Jared, who she married 3 years prior to her disappearance. In Towson, I was always busy and barely had time to go to parties and try really hard not to fail any of my classes. Alex, however, was the wild one, the tomboy of the family, and she can party a little too hard when it comes at alcohol. Come to think of it, she can definitely hold her beer like a jock. The date was January 14th, 2016, a Thursday, and I was studying for an upcoming test when someone knocked on my door. I got up and answered the door to see it was Alex, who came to visit me in my apartment. "Jesus Christ, you're still doing your work?" she jokingly asked as we hugged. "So, Mom and Dad are watching Alice tonight, and I'm throwing a party at the rec room for my friend's birthday, and I was hoping you want to hang out at that party?" she asked. "I loved to, but I got a lot of class stuff to finish," I said. "Alright, that's okay, little brother, education is important. But if you change your mind, the rec room, 6:30, and wear a coat, it's cold as fuck outside. See ya later, nerd," she said as she walked out of the room and closed the door. Ever since I was a kid, I was always the good student, perfect grades, not getting in trouble and work hard. But I rarely let loose, go to parties and have a fun time. Fuck it, I exhaustively said. "I'll finish this scrap later." I put away everything, grabbed my phone, wallet, and coat, walked to my car and drove 4 minutes to the party. I got to the rec room and entered to the life-saving heat in the restaurant. The place was nearly packed and I see Alex and Jared in the back. "Holy shit, you came," said my sister when she hugged in shocking excitement. It was also good to see Jared there as well. "Well, I got bored, so I came to just have a little fun." "Came here to get wasted too, Jerry?" I said. Man, I wish. But I'm driving tonight," Jared said. So we party half-hard, had 1 beer and some food, then at around 7:20 when some people walked in the restaurant. At first glance, I didn't care, but these guys were real assholes. They had some beers and one of them, a medium-build dude who was wasted as fuck, started harassing one of Alex's friends, Claire. "Hey gorgeous, you single?" said the dude in a slurred voice. "Fuck off," she said. The dude didn't like it and threw his drink over the counter and grabbed her arm in an aggressive rate. "Listen, bitch. You don't tell me to fuck off, Kay. I asked you a fucking question," the dude drunkenly said. I stepped in softly, pushed the asshole away from Claire. She said, "Fuck off, you drunken fuck," I said in brave, but in a regrettable tone. "Who the fuck are you, her boyfriend?" he said. I always try to stay away from fights, but this time I just decided to get out my comfort zone. I punched the fucker square in the face, and as he fell backward, one of his buddies yelled, "Oh shit, Connor," as I learned his name. He looked at me with a vicious, bloodthirsty stare and said, "You're fucking dead, motherfucker." That's when Jared and Alex stepped in front of me for protection. "Get out right now," My sister yelled at them. "Fuck this place. Let's go," said Connor as him and his cronies grudgingly left. Felt relieved. I thanked my sister and Jared and stay for 20 minutes before returning to my apartment. On this night was the night that changed everything forever. I was asleep at around 7:55 p.m. and my roommate was playing Black Ops 3 on his Xbox when my phone started ringing. It was Jared, so I answered it. "What's up, Jay?" I asked. "Dave, come to the hospital right now, it's Alex," he said in a calm but worried voice. "What happened?" I asked, very concerned. Alex was outside waiting by and I went back to the restaurant to get my jacket. Then she screamed and I ran outside to see her on the ground with her knee bleeding. He frantically said, "Okay, I'm coming right now," I said as I got up, grabbed my jacket and walked to the hospital. The hospital wasn't that far as it is literally right next to my apartment, so I walked and got in the lobby, only see Jared in the lobby. "What happened?" I nervously asked. Long story short, she got bit by a dog. The bite looked deep, so I took her. The doctor checked her for rabies, but the good news is that she's cleared. He said, "We waited until morning for her and the doctor said that she's fine and can go home, but she has to rest for the wound to heal." The next 6 days were okay, to say the least, but for Alex, it was very complicated. Jared told that sometimes she toss and turn aggressively, have night sweats and grunts in mild pain. I visited her on the 21st. She was feeling fine, no pain, sleeping great. She felt like a new person. Thinking that Alex will be fine on her own, Jared told me that he's visiting his mom in Owings Mills and he's taking Alice with him. "Can you make sure to check in with your sister from time to time?" He said, "Yeah, I will," told him as he carries Alice in his arms and waved goodbye at us. "You gonna be okay being alone?" I asked Alex. She said that she doesn't mind the silence and she'll call me if anything happens. It started snowing as I head back to my apartment to do an essay and went to sleep. The next morning I woke up at around 10 a.m. I opened the blinds to see most of the parking lot buried in foots of snow. I turned on the TV when the news came. A body was found this morning at the Towson Manor Park right behind me as police. The reporter continued talking until he abruptly stops mid-sentence as he received a new message from his earphone. "I have just been informed that 2 more bodies have been found at 2 different locations in the Towson area." I was totally shocked at what I just heard. Even my roommate Kyle was pretty surprised. "Holy shit, there's a murderer in Towson," said Kyle, "but the police will find whoever did this. We have to remain alert," I said. We went outside to help out shoveling snow and tossing melt salt on the sidewalks. At the end of the day, we went back inside and I grabbed my phone to call Alex just to make sure she's alright. After 2 missed calls, she finally answered the phone. "Hey David, I'm really tired, so can you call later?" she said in a tired voice. I said I'll call her later and I was somewhat curious about Jared, so I called him. He picked up the phone and I told him what was going on. He said thanks for the update and him and Alice will return tomorrow when the snow is off the street. Feeling tired, I put my phone away and went to sleep. Then all of a sudden Kyle frantically woke me up. Bro, wake up, it happened again," he yelled like a lunatic. I grabbed my phone to check that it's 2:23 a.m. and I followed Kyle to the TV just to see WJZ on the screen. To anyone who just tunes in, there has been another animal attack, but this time it's inside this home on Fairway Drive where 4 people have been brutally killed and 1 survivor who is critically injured. Hours later the police held a press conference on what to do with the frequent animal attacks. Due to the recent attacks in the area, we hereby declare a 7 p.m. curfew in the Towson area. Everyone even was freaking out about the attacks. People even drive up to Continental Arms in Cockeysville to buy guns to protect themselves. I called Alex to check up on her, but to no avail. Then I called Jared, who picked up and told me he dropped off Alice at my parents' and he's on his way to check on Alex. Later that day, Jared and Alice was involved in a car accident of which they both survived. I went to check Alex at her home, but it was empty and her phone was still in the house. I called 911 to inform that Alex is missing and they'll do what they can to find her. In the early morning of the 25th, it happened again. This time 2 security guards from Gaucho were killed, a neighbor's cat was found mutilated, and a homeless woman was found with half of her body missing. Everyone was now horribly terrified and most of them started to board their windows. Alex is still missing and I and my family were really worried. Jamie came from DC to help find Alex since the cops were too damn busy. We spent all day trying to find her and putting up missing person flyers. I was getting tired when I checked my phone to see what time. 6:33 p.m. it said, so headed back to my car when I got hit in the head real hard. I woke up with a brutal headache and a bag on my head and tape on my mouth. The bag was removed only to be greeted by Connor and his bastard friends. "Told you you're dead," he said to me with a sadistic grin on his face. He put the bag on my head and put his gun on my forehead, preparing for the worst. I tried to pray and begged him with the damn tape on my lips. Then a loud scream echoed in the forest and everyone got startled. I couldn't see anything but I heard the whole thing. Gunfire was drawn, screaming in fear, and there what was sounded like flesh being ripped apart. Then everything got quiet and something rolled to my knees. I finally got the restraints off and took off the bag only to Connor's decapitated head right in front of me. The flashlight was beaming at me when I looked up to see a monstrous beast, possibly 5 feet 9 inches, breathing heavily, blood-covered fur and razor-sharp nails, and it was holding a leg and looked at me with evil red eyes. I shrugged back to the tree behind me, begged the monster not to eat me, and then it was this moment I'll never forget until the day I die. It spoke and said, "David, it's me, Alex." My eyes opened wide. I was shocked and confused in a horrifying state. "Alex? No. No, it can't be." Softly I asked, "Little brother, it's me," it said in a deep but feminine voice. "No. This bullshit. This is bullshit." I screamed in tears. "Remember that time when you were 8 and wanted the cookies from the top of the fridge? You put your feet on my shoulders and I held your legs when the cat walked by and I lost my balance and we fell. I was unbelievably surprised and I slowly accepted the fact that the monster is Alex. She walked with me to the outskirts of the university still in her monster form. I frantically asked her so many questions I was hyperventilating and feel like having a heart attack. "I'll explain everything, just not right now," she told me before she ran into the night. I walked all the way back to my apartment in the cold and Kyle was ecstatic when I walked in the door. He ran and hugged in relief, asking me where have I been. I told him that I was busy putting up the flyers, that I forgot to check them, and told him that I need to sleep. The next few hours I was still shocked because of everything that transpired. I went to all of my classes, trying to stay under control. The news came on and informed that the police found Connor and his friends' bodies near Holland View Road. 2 days had passed and I'm still mentally petrified to hell and feel like going to a psychologist. On the news they reveal the names of the victims who died. The youngest victim was Sarah Harvey, who was 9 months old when she was killed in the house. Then at 8:11 p.m., I received a call from an unknown number. I answered it only to hear Alex from the other line. "Meet me at Glenwoods behind your apartment," before hanging up. I sneaked out because Kyle was asleep and walked to the meetup location. I walked there, only found Alex sitting alone, waiting for me. I approached her as I became furiously angry at her. I yelled at her why and how, I mean, what the hell? She spoke to me to explain from the beginning. The dog bite she had the other night was from a werewolf who ran at me when she was drunk. Then on the night of 22nd, she transformed into a werewolf and uncontrollably began to eat people. This continued until after she attacked the Harveys. I ate the dad first and then the mother, and I threw their daughter at the wall and I pounced on the boy and started eating him. She continued as she started crying uncontrollably because of what she did. And then the baby. Oh dear Lord, the baby was crying and I wasn't in control of myself. She cried and cried and cried until she stopped crying, and that's when I finally controlled myself. But it was too fucking late. Half of the baby's body was gone, only leaving her upper torso and her head. She dropped to her knees and cried heavily, not wanting to continue talking. As she continued crying, I slowly walked towards her to comfort her and telling her that it wasn't her fault. It's gonna be okay, Alex. We'll fix this and everything will be fine, I told her. I didn't ask this, goddammit. She screamed, I wish this never happened to me. As I continued comforting her, I asked why you? Why of all people were you chosen? And I was startled by a voice behind me saying, you really can't keep your damn mouth shut, can you, Alex? I turn around only to see 5 people and 2 more grabbing me behind. No, Isaac. Leave him alone. Alex yelled at the ringleader. Isaac talked to Alex, telling her she's too naive and too stupid to run around eating people. I made a mistake choosing you over anyone else. I thought you had potential. I was wrong, he said in a cold-hearted, humanless voice. Isaac also thanked her for bringing dinner, meaning me, as he walked towards me with claws now extending. Alex jumped in front of me, telling Isaac she'll do whatever he and his pack needed if they leave her family alone. He looked annoyed and bit his lower lip in quiet anger, but he accepted her offer. All right, your family won't be harmed, he coldly said, and then he and his pack began transforming in front of me. I was standing in fear, watching as they became werewolves. What are you waiting for, Alex? Said Isaac with a bone-chilling animalistic voice. She turned to me and hugged me really tight. Take care of Alice and the family for me, will you? She said while holding back tears. I will, I responded back. She walked back a couple of steps before transforming in front of me. The painful moan became a horrifying scream as her bones stretched longer. Her teeth went from straight clear white to bloodied fanged and her clothes shred as she grew into a bulky, furred beast, and her crystal blue eyes are replaced with red menacing eyes. She then gives an ear-shattering howl as she's fully transformed, no longer a human. She then looked at me one final time and said goodbye, David, as she ran off into the frozen darkness with Isaac. I haven't been the same after that night. My family reported her missing and Jared never stopped looking for her for a few months, and the police did everything to find her, but unfortunately to no avail. But only I know the truth of what happened to her. Everyone in a while I'll go Google and type in us werewolf sightings to see if she's still out there, but as a werewolf, I still miss her to this day. I miss her sarcastic remarks, her teasing, always beating me at PlayStation and happily dance at my defeat. But more importantly, I miss my best friend. Alex, if you're still out there, I just wanted to let you know that we miss you, and maybe one day we'll be reunited, but until that day happens I'll still try to find you. Your baby brother, David.